As a woman over 40, if you're ready to start dropping extra body fat, but you don't want to have to spend 2 hours a day at the gym or give up every single thing that you love or try to fit in some extreme plan that you can't follow no matter how hard you try, then this video is going to show you the 3 things that you need to focus on first. And these are the 3 biggest levers for women in midlife. And I'm going to be direct with you about all 3. But the second shift is something that almost all women in their 40s and 50s are quietly underdoing without even realizing it. And it's the reason why you might be feeling hungry or constantly like you're fighting craving and having some energy crash every single afternoon. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a strategy to stack all 3 of these things together and what this actually looks like for a real woman in real life with kids and work and a partner and everything else that you're taking care of. If you're new here, I'm Jenny Tonin, a holistic nutritionist who hit my own wall in my 40s, dealing with PCOS, hormones working against me, weight that wouldn't budge no matter how hard I tried and no matter what I did. And I ended up burning out myself by constantly trying to eat less and push harder. And what eventually worked for me wasn't more restriction. It was learning specific shifts that actually fit in my real, hectic, crazy life and helped me to get the results that I wanted. Now I help other women do the same. And today I'm showing you some of those exact shifts. The advice most women are following when it comes to losing weight, it's generic advice that doesn't work for women in midlife. And honestly, most of it is designed around men's physiology. It's not built for a woman in perimenopause or menopause, whose hormones, whose insulin sensitivity and muscle mass are all shifting at once. So when you keep on trying to use the tools that don't work for us, eating less, doing more cardio, pushing, grinding, white knuckling your way through cravings, and your body keeps on not responding the way that you want it to, it's because that advice literally wasn't made for a woman in your phase of life. And here's the part that I want to be really clear about. After 40, your body is changing, whether or not you act upon it or not. Muscle declines, insulin sensitivity declines, hormones shift. The body that you have in 2 years is going to reflect either the action you took or the inaction you defaulted to. If you are stuck waiting to feel ready or until you found that perfect plan, that's not neutral. It has a cost. The good news is that the right few shifts can move the needle fast. So let's get into them now. Now, insulin is the hormone that basically decides whether your body stores fat or burns it. When insulin is elevated, your fat burning is basically turned off, especially when you're dealing with perimenopause or menopause. Women are naturally more insulin resistant, meaning the same amount of carbs that didn't even phase you when you were 30 or 35 now spikes your insulin higher and keeps it higher longer. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you have to go 0 carb, and I'm not going to put you on a keto diet, but if you're serious about dropping fat after 40, refined carbs cannot be part of your day in the same way that they used to be. They have to come down significantly. Now, when I'm talking about refined carbs, I'm talking about things like crackers and chips and cookies and cereal and pastries, white bread, pasta, baked goods, candy, granola bars, even a lot of those protein bars. These are the things that are spiking your blood sugar fast. But when you get that high blood sugar spike, that's a signal for your body to dump insulin into your bloodstream. And that puts you in fat storage mode. And when we're talking about these refined carbs, most women are easily eating at least 3 to 5 of these every day without even realizing it. So you can cut them out entirely or cut way back on them. And this alone will move things for you. Now, let me give you a few small tips that can further support healthy blood sugar and insulin response. So going for a 10 to 15 minute walk after you eat something. It helps your muscles to soak up that excess glucose so it doesn't end up in fat storage. You can also add a teaspoon or two of apple cider vinegar to a glass of water and drink that about 15 minutes before your meal. And you can use specific spices, things like Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon, and ginger, and put that on foods and teas. And again, that helps bring down that glucose response, and then therefore you have a lower insulin response. Now, this isn't magic. These are things that you can use on a consistent basis to help with all of this. And here's the part that makes all of this easier. When you nail what I'm about to tell you next, the cravings for those refined carbs usually drop dramatically. So you don't have to white knuckle those cravings any longer, because this is not about restriction forever. It's about learning how to create the conditions where you stop wanting these things so much. The second lever is protein. And I'm going to be really specific here because there's so much vague advice on protein. And it's the reason why so many women are still under eating it. The way of eating that I endorse is what I call a protein focused way of eating, or a protein focused diet. So I don't want protein to be the side player at your meals any longer. It's the anchor. Build your meal around it. And then you add in your vegetables, and you can add in some healthy fats and maybe a whole food carbohydrate too. But here's the protein target that most women have never heard. Roughly 1 gram of protein per ideal pound of body weight each and every day. That simply means that if your ideal body weight is around 140 pounds, then that means that you want to get 140 grams of protein into your body each and every day, divided between 3 or 4 meals. And I know that for most of us, that sounds like a lot. And it's significantly more than almost all women are eating right now. So about 99% of the women I work with, when they start seeing me, they're under eating protein significantly. They think that they're getting enough because they had some Greek yogurt at breakfast, they put some chicken on their salad at lunch, and then they had something with protein for dinner. But when we actually count it, they're getting like 50 or 60 grams, not 140. There's a concept called the protein leverage hypothesis. And once you understand it, a lot of what's been happening in your body suddenly makes sense. The basic idea is that your body will keep on telling you it's hungry until you give it enough protein. It will keep on telling you to go out and find more food until you hit somewhere near your protein target, because protein is the one macronutrient our body can't make. So when protein is low, you don't just feel hungry, you actually end up overeating everything else. The crackers, the chips, the pasta, the bowl of rice, the cereal at 9 p.m. because your body is searching for what it actually needs. So when you're under eating protein, your body's going to keep on telling you you're hungry until you get enough. Protein is the most naturally satiating macronutrient by a wide margin. It also means that you're going to crave sugar and refined carbs, because when you don't get enough protein, your body starts asking for easy energy because you didn't give it that slow, stable fuel that protein provides, plus the essential building blocks your body requires. On top of that, when you're not getting enough protein, your energy crashes. This is why people get late afternoon or mid-afternoon energy crashes, or they feel hangry. You're on a blood sugar roller coaster. So this is why you might feel snacky between meals, or you have mood swings. Blood sugar instability is one of the most unrecognized drivers of mood symptoms in midlife. On top of that, when you don't get enough protein, you're slowly losing muscle every year. And your muscle is your metabolism. If even one of those things sounds like you, the protein lever is the one to pull first. Almost always fixing this makes everything else easier. And the most practical way to start is to not fix it all at once. Instead, what I suggest is fixing it one meal at a time. Don't try to overhaul your whole diet. That ends up being why most people quit. It's overwhelming. So for the first week or two, just focus on getting more protein at breakfast. Get the 30 to 40 grams. Nothing else needs to change yet. And then after you've done that for a couple of weeks and it's become more straightforward and easy, and you're getting used to it. Next, I usually suggest focusing on working on dinner. Again, work on getting 30 to 40 grams of protein in each and every dinner. And then after you've done that for a couple of weeks, add in lunch. Easiest way to do this is to bring leftovers from the dinner the night before. But if you're doing this consistently for each meal of the day, you're automatically getting somewhere between 90 to 120 grams of protein, which is so much closer to what most women require than what 99% of us are getting. So let's talk about what this really looks like in real life. So it might look like 3 eggs plus a protein shake. That's going to be somewhere around 40 grams of protein, depending on the specific. It might be a cup of Greek yogurt with a scoop of whey protein and some berries. That's one of my favorite easy high protein breakfast hacks that I have all the time. Or maybe it's cottage cheese and some leftover protein from the night before as part of your breakfast. I mean, the options are really limitless. You just have to understand what you're striving for and then figure out the right foods to eat. Now, I made a free resource exactly for this because I know that trying to figure it all out can be complicated and overwhelming when you already have a lot to take care of. So this cheat sheet I have, it's one simple page and it shows you visually what 30 grams of protein looks like. All you have to do is pick 3 of these items and you're already at 90 grams of protein. Pick 4 and you're already at 120 grams. I'll drop the link in the description so you can grab it for free. Now, the women I work with who fix their protein first before they change anything else, they almost always start seeing the scale move in the direction they want it to, but they also see their cravings start to drop off and their energy comes back. And that all often happens within a couple of weeks without even trying to cut anything else out. That's how powerful this single lever is. Now, if everything I'm saying is hitting home for you, if you're realizing that you've been stuck in a pattern and you want help getting out of that, I want to tell you about a brand new program I'm building called Becoming. Now, this is a 21-day guided journey, and it's made specifically for women in midlife that are tired with trying to start over every Monday, and they're ready to do the inner work that makes the physical work actually stick. Because here's the truth. Most of us women in midlife, we don't need another protocol. We need to learn how to build trust with ourselves first. Faith that we can actually do the thing. We need to get clear on what it is that we want and become the woman who can finally put into action everything that she knows. This isn't like anything else you'll find anywhere when it comes to weight loss, especially for us women in midlife. And the waitlist just opened up. And if you put your name on it, you're going to get free access to a workshop called The 3 Essential Steps to Lasting Change That Nobody Talks About. Plus, by being on the waitlist, you're guaranteed the lowest price for Becoming when it becomes available. I'll link that below. And if anything in this video is landing for you, you're going to want to be sure to get on that list. Now, the third lever is one that almost all women skip because it doesn't feel like it's impressive enough. And that's exactly why it works. It's simply moving your body in the right way. It's not about pushing and grinding and forcing. Not at all. It's simply about walking and adding in some strength training. Now, I know that's not the sexy answer. It's not the trendy answer. It's not the latest fad on Instagram or TikTok or wherever. But this lever quietly does more for body composition after 40 than just about anything else. I'm talking strategically about walking after meals specifically, which I talked about a little bit earlier on. And that's one of the single most underrated fat loss tools for women over 40. You see, your muscles act like a sponge for glucose, but only when they're moving, especially the bigger muscles in your calves, in your quads, in your glutes. So a 10-minute walk after a meal doesn't just feel nice. It doesn't just help you digest your food and relax. It directly lowers your insulin response after the meal, and it directly routes glucose into your muscle instead of for fat storage. And the bigger lever is strength training. Now, after 40, you start losing muscle at an accelerated rate unless you're actively working against that. And muscle is metabolism. Losing muscle literally means that your body is going to burn less fat at rest every single day for the rest of your life. But on top of that, you also lose strength and function. On top of that, strength training reshapes how your body looks, significantly helps to increase your energy, and it supports your overall health and helps to keep you looking and feeling younger. Now, if you're just getting started, 2 or 3 20 to 30-minute strength training sessions a week are all you need. It can be squat, push-ups, even against a wall or a counter if you're not used to them, lunges, glute bridges, planks, dumbbell rows. These are all really effective but really simple exercises. You can do this at home in your living room before everyone gets up for the day. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. It's not going to make you look bulky, but what you need is to be a woman in midlife that's actively building your muscle instead of slowly losing it. Okay, now here's the strategy I promised at the beginning, the thing that ties all of this together. Now, the mistake that I see women making over and over again is that they start pulling these levers separately, one at a time, hoping that something is going to work. The shift is that you stack these inside the same meal, inside the same hour, inside the same day. And when you do, the effect on your body is bigger than the sum of the parts. So here's what stacking this all looks like in real life for a real woman with a real schedule. So let's say you're like me, juggling work, kids, school pickup, an aging parent, dinner to figure out, walking the dog, and a partner that you've barely talked to today, and basically zero free time. That's who I'm talking about, because that's the life I live. And if you're watching to this point, you probably relate. Now, I always say breakfast is the easiest place to start. So getting a protein focused breakfast where you're getting at least 30 to 40 grams of protein in that meal. So that can look like 3 scrambled eggs with some spinach, plus a cup of Greek yogurt with some berries and Ceylon cinnamon on top. And there you have about a 35 to 40 gram protein meal with low refined carbs, and that's going to support healthy blood sugar and therefore insulin response. So lever 1 is checked, lower refined carbs. Lever 2 is checked, protein anchor is addressed. And then for lunch, well, maybe it's leftover chicken from last night's dinner with a big salad that has some olive oil and lemon on it, and a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water 5 to 15 minutes before you eat lunch, and then a 10-minute walk afterward. Even if it's literally pacing the office hallway, walking to grab the mail, or doing some laps around the parking lot. But then in that simple lunch, you've checked all 3 levers. And then dinner, well, maybe it's a piece of salmon or some ground beef, plus some roasted veggies that you like, and maybe a smaller portion of sweet potato or rice, if that's what you feel called to have. And then another 10-minute walk around the block while you call your sister or listen to a favorite podcast. And again, all 3 levers are checked. Check, check, check. And then add into that strength training 2 or 3 times a week, 20 minutes in your living room before everyone else is up, or while dinner's in the oven. Squat, push-ups, glute bridges, done. All 3 levers. Check, check, check. That's a real day, not a fantasy schedule. That's stacking. And women who actually move the needle on body fat after 40, they don't have to do more than this. They're doing this consistently. The advice doesn't have to be a more complicated, elaborate routine. You just have to actively be willing to live it. So for the next 24 hours, here's your next move. Pick one meal. If you don't know which one to start with, I always suggest breakfast, and make sure you hit that 30 to 40 gram protein target with no or low refined carbs, and then take a 10-minute walk after. That's it. Not 5 changes, 1 meal, 1 walk. If your mornings are chaos, then here's what it can look like in real life. Boil enough eggs on Sunday so that they can last all week. Buy a good quality protein powder that has low sugar or no sugar in it, and get some Greek yogurt and pre-cook some ground beef or chicken in a batch so that your breakfast can be leftovers and an egg. You don't need to build a perfect plan. You don't need some complicated menu. If you do this consistently for 30 days, at least 1 protein-focused meal a day, plus 1 10 to 15-minute walk after a meal, plus unless you get a couple of strength training sessions in a week, you will see and feel the difference. For most women, this looks like their cravings dropping off, their energy stabilizing throughout the afternoon, sleep improving, clothes fitting better, and your mood evening out. All within the first 3 or 4 weeks. Not because it was extreme, but because it was sustainable. And here's what no one tells you. It gets easier. The beginning is the hardest part. That's why most people quit early on. When your protein and your blood sugar is stable, you stop having to white knuckle the cravings. The desire for cookies and chips, the 3 p.m. pick-me-up quiets down, and you stop feeling like you're at war with your body. So if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. After 40, it's not about trying to do more. You need to pull the right levers and learn how to stack them. Refined carbs come down, protein comes up, walking and strength are added in, all inside the same day. And that's how women in midlife actually start dropping body fat. If you want to go deeper into the whole carb piece, exactly how you can still continue to enjoy things like bread, pasta, rice, and potatoes while still losing weight after 40. My video about how to eat carbs and still lose weight after 40 will help. And if this video gave you clarity, hit the subscribe button and be sure to like it. It really does help me out, but it also helps get this content out to other women who really need to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.